I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. If you're Donald Trump and you've just been criminally indicted on 37 counts for stealing classified records and obstructing justice in a very detailed complaint, where do you go? What do you do next? Well, if you're Donald Trump with the modern day Republican Party, you go and give a speech or a rally, if you will, at the Republican convention in Georgia. Donald Trump on Saturday spoke to an audience at the Georgia Republican Convention in Columbus, Georgia, where he further incriminated himself, further turned over more evidence to Special Counsel Jack Smith and the Department of Justice that will almost certainly go before the jury. And Donald Trump continued to spread lie after lie, filled with disinformation. He continued to lie even about the 2020 election, which should come as no surprise given the Republicans in that audience in Georgia. Many of them supported the fake electors who unlawfully certified that Donald Trump won when President Joe Biden won that state. So I want to show you these clips, but I also want to highlight, though, just the audience there and what the modern day Republican Party has become, where they're supportive of espionage, they're supportive of obstruction of justice. They have become a full-blown cult. So here is Donald Trump landing in Georgia. How humiliating. Here in this clip, Marjorie Taylor Greene was completely snubbed by Trump as she waited for him on the tarmac. Play this clip. And look, Donald Trump could very well spend the rest of his life in prison based on the indictment that was just unsealed by Special Counsel Jack Smith. And here are the types of comments that he is saying. He's saying the Espionage Act. Oh, they use the term espionage. Here, watch this clip. Play it.
So you got to watch that. You got to watch it. We're all going to be watching it. As president, all of my documents fell under what is known as the Presidential Records Act, which is not at all a criminal act. Everything. It's all judged by the Presidential Records Act. In this whole fake indictment, they don't even once mention the Presidential Records Act, which is really the ruling act, which this case falls under 100%, because they want to use something called the Espionage Act. Doesn't that sound terrible? Oh, espionage. We got a box. I got a box. The Espionage. The Espionage Act of 1917. I think it was put in there about World War I boxes. And by the way, Biden's got 1,850 boxes. He's got boxes in Chinatown, D.C. He's got boxes all over the place. He doesn't know what the hell to do with them. And he's fighting them on the boxes. He doesn't want to give the boxes. And then they say, Trump is obstructioning. He's obstructing. No, it's a sad day for the country. You know, I said, last night I said that
in this next clip, Donald Trump lies, and he says that the reason that one of the boxes in the photograph that was in the unsealed indictment shows classified material on the floor. Donald Trump even claims that it doesn't show that on the floor, but it obviously does. But that the reason that that was on the floor, Donald Trump claims that the FBI did that. Here, play this clip.
He was protected by the Democrats. Biden was not indicted, and what he's done is terrible. You know, they like to say, well, what Trump did. I mean, actually, I was impressed. It looked so orderly and nice. Somehow somebody turned over one of the boxes. Did you see that? I said, I wonder who did that. Did the FBI do that? Because they also did something where they put documents all over the floors and they took pictures and they tried to pretend like I did it, and then they had to apologize. They did it. Remember that famous picture?
And again, his lies are just so obvious. Yet the modern day Republican Party, they'll just clap and cheer it on, and they'll just use those talking points without even reading what is in the complaint, without even reading what the evidence is. Here, this is a color photograph that was in the unsealed indictment of one of the boxes that's on the floor. There is classified information in there. It is redacted. How do we know it's redacted? Because it states in the unsealed indictment that it's redacted. But on the bottom right, you can see the border of a classified document in that kind of orange color. And by the way, these photographs were not taken by the FBI. The photographs in the unsealed indictment and the text messages in the unsealed indictment, all of that came from Donald Trump's employees. So the photo that you're looking at right now, the photo that Donald Trump is referencing, is one of many photos that were taken by his co-defendant and his personal aide, Walt Nauta, well before the FBI ever arrived at Mar-a-Lago. So this is the text message from Donald Trump's staff to other staff members showing the condition in which these classified documents were being kept at Mar-a-Lago. And they also outlined the text messages which show Donald Trump's efforts to deceive the FBI, but Donald Trump just completely lies. Here, if you go to page 14 of the unsealed indictment, it says how Walt Nauta, Donald Trump's co-defendant and employee, texted Trump employee to, quote, "I opened the door and found this." Nauta also attached 2 photographs he took of the spill. Trump employee 2 replied, oh no, and I'm sorry, POTUS had my phone. One of the photographs Nauta texted to Trump employee 2 is depicted below with the visible classified information redacted. Trump's unlawful retention of this document is charged in count 8 of the indictment. Again, just so easy to demonstrate that Donald Trump is lying. Here in the next clip, Donald Trump says that the box was turned over. It had newspaper clippings, all sorts of things, but nobody saw the documents there. Here, play the clip.
But the box that was turned over, it had newspapers, it had pictures, it had clippings, it had all sorts of things. Nobody saw the documents there.
And again, you just saw the documents. There is a classified document in there. And if you go through the unsealed indictment, you'll see that these classified documents include like our nuclear information. It includes highly classified information about military operations. And Trump's on tape just bragging to people about, here, you want to see this document of this military attack and this military operation? I mean, this is life or death stuff. Here, Donald Trump attacks special counsel Jack Smith. He calls him deranged Jack Smith, and says that Jack Smith was scared and shaking. I mean, the projection here, Jack. We all saw the press conference. It's not what happened. Here, play the clip.
And they had to pay up, and they had to pay up dearly for it when they got caught. And this is the same guy, deranged Jack Smith. And I watched him yesterday go up and talk. He talked for about 2.5 minutes. He was shaking. He was so scared. He didn't want to be there because ultimately these are cowards. They're cowards. And he's a big Trump hater. Openly, he's a Trump hater. And his wife is even more of a Trump hater. I wish her a lot of luck, but he's a bad Trump hater and she's a Trump hater.
Your pets are a member of the family. Don't feed them like they're in the doghouse. Give them Num Num. Num Num delivers fresh dog food with every portion personalized to your dog's needs, so you can bring out their best. Num Num's made with real, whole food you can see and recognize without any additives or fillers that contribute to bloating and low energy. That's because Num Num uses the latest science and insights to make real, good food for dogs. Their nutrient-packed recipes are crafted by board-certified veterinary nutritionists, made fresh and shipped free to your door. Num Num's already delivered over 40 million meals to good dogs like yours, inspiring millions of clean bowls and tail wags. Now, I love my dog so much and feel better giving them the nutrition that he needs. And my dog loves the food and other benefits that he's seen. Plus, Num Num comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Num Num will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Num Num. Go right now for 50% off your no-risk 2-week trial at trynum.com/Meidas, spelled TRYNOM.com/Meidas for 50% off. trynum.com/Meidas. Thank you.
And also Donald Trump threatening the prosecutor, making fun of the prosecutor on the case. And by the way, special counsel Jack Smith is still investigating Donald Trump, of course, for Donald Trump's election interference. And since Donald Trump's giving this speech in Georgia, one of the strands of the criminal investigation by special counsel Jack Smith is the fake elector scheme, whereby Donald Trump had, in this case, Republicans, some who are probably in the audience, certify that Donald Trump won the election when he did not. Here's just one more clip of Donald Trump saying, "We didn't do any obstruction." Here, play the clip.
He's a bad Trump hater and she's a Trump hater. And you shouldn't put people like that in. And you know, the people looking at Biden, he's a very nice man. They looked at Mike Pence. He had classified documents, no problem. They looked at Biden. He has so many classified documents, they don't know what to do, and he's trying to prevent them from seeing it. That's obstruction. But we didn't do any obstruction. This is a sick nest of people that needs to be cleaned out immediately. Get them out.
Just over and over again, lies after lies. And here, Donald Trump, again, he's in Georgia. Here, Donald Trump is lying about his loss to Biden, and he claims that it was rigged in Georgia. The 2020 election was rigged. And you'll hear, the crowd is clapping for this. And it's just so disturbing that this is the state of the modern day Republican Party. Play this clip.
I had every right to complain that the election in Georgia was, in my opinion, rigged. That the election in Georgia was a disaster.
And again, Donald Trump talking about the 2020 election, the call where he extorted and threatened the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and telling him to find votes so that the free and fair election could be overturned. Donald Trump's like, there was a perfect call. No, just to criticize me is communism. Here, play this clip.
Understand? No, if they heard something wrong, they would have had an obligation to tell me on the phone. Nobody said that. You listen to the tape. We just continued a conversation. There was nothing that was said wrong. I was complaining about an election that I think was rigged. And the day that you're not allowed to complain to the proper authority, and the day that you're not allowed to complain an election, then we are indeed communist China. But just remember that for the reporter.
Here, Donald Trump talks about former Vice President Mike Pence, and Donald Trump says he's a nice person, but I may have to get nasty. Play this clip.
69. DeSanctimonious is at 13. Pence is at 6. But Pence has gone down since his last, sadly, because he's a nice person. He's trying to get nasty, though, so we may have to fight a different way. All of a sudden, you notice that? All of a sudden, you get a little bit nasty, Mike.
Here, Donald Trump discusses that he would, on day one, if he were to be reelected, he would sign an executive order. He calls it an executed order that would end automatic citizenship for people who are born in the United States. Again, wholly unconstitutional. Play this clip.
And to further deter illegal immigration, I will sign a day one executive order. We're going to do an executive order day one, so important, ending automatic citizenship for children of illegal aliens.
And here Donald Trump is bragging about predicting that Live Golf was going, which is backed by the totally backed by the Saudi Arabian Sovereign Wealth Fund. Donald Trump brags that the Live Golf tournament merged with the PGA, that the American PGA, right, because these are America First people, that the American PGA is now going to be controlled and merged into or merged with Live Golf, which is the Saudi-backed golf tournament, part of a Saudi Arabian influence operation here in the United States.
Just like I was right about Live Golf. Was I right about Live Golf? I was right. I said, you better make a deal. You guys, the golfers, you better make a deal. I was right. I called that one exactly right, didn't I? Because if they merge, if you don't make a deal, you're not going to get anything. And a lot of guys got left out in the cold.
Okay, number one, for those people who are like, yeah, America first. By the way, this is the opposite of America first, to have the Saudi Arabian government take over the PGA, and clearly an attempt at an influence operation here. Also, it's not surprising that Donald Trump would know that. He's got a very close relationship with the Saudi Arabian government. He does business with them all the time at the expense of our national security. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, got $2 billion from the Saudi sovereign wealth fund that owns Live. And Jared Kushner has no background at all in investment or managing funds like this. Yet the Saudi Arabian sovereign wealth fund gave Jared Kushner $2 billion. And they clap for this stuff. It was like when the Arizona Republicans made a deal with the Saudi Arabian government where they gave away significant water rights in Arizona during a drought to the Saudi Arabian sovereign wealth fund. Like, you could buy these MAGA Republicans so easily. It's disgraceful. But what's also disgraceful is, frankly, the way the media covers this. Like, this is how the Associated Press is covering this event. Like, you saw that. This is objectively fascist, crazy idiocracy stuff, right? So I would expect the media, well, I have no expectations of the media anymore. I know what we do here on the MeidasTouch Network. You call that out. How do you normalize what we all just watched? And this is why people are just shutting down large media networks and not even looking at it, because it's all BS. It's all gaslighting. This was the headline from Associated Press, and they're supposed to be the objective. And this is what they said. Trump blasts federal indictment as baseless in speech to Republicans in Georgia. How about the headline, Trump incriminates himself further after being exposed for engaging in espionage against the United States of America? How about we do the real headline here? And this is what the article says. Former President Donald Trump on Saturday blasted his historic federal indictment as, quote, ridiculous and baseless, saying in his first public appearance since the charges were unsealed that the 37 felony counts were an attack on his supporters as he tried to turn legal peril into political advantage. Speaking at the Georgia Republican Convention, Trump cast his indictment by the Department of Justice as an attempt to hurt his chances returning to the White House as he campaigns for a second term in office. They've launched one witch hunt after another to try to stop our movement, to thwart the will of the American people, Trump said. And then they quote from a Georgia congressman. They go, Trump is a fighter, and the kinds of people that attend these conventions love a fighter, said Jack Kingston, a former Georgia congressman who supported the Trump White House campaigns in 2016 and 2020. How do you write an article like that? How do you write an article like that? I mean, you've got a byline of Bill Barrow, Jeff Amy, Jill Colvin, Meg Kennard. You got 4 people. Like, when you're writing that and you watch the rally, is it just a job to you? Like, we don't even care. Like just whatever. Just both sides this crap. It's too hard to challenge and just push back on it. The American people see through this crap. It's why it's so vital we share these messages, we spread these videos, and we call out fascism as fascism. We call traitors traitors. We call criminals criminals. Anybody who reads the indictment that is unsealed and reads it like we do here, like you do, and focuses on it, knows that this is serious life or death stuff. This is not stuff to just joke around about and go, oh, Trump blasts federal indictment as bull BS. BS. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Let's go, people. Let's go. We're in this together, Midas Mighty, okay? We're in this together. Spread these videos, share the message, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. We got each other's back. Hit subscribe. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Have a great day.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.